Frank Walsh, thank you so much for doing this once again. So, my first question, I want to, before I get to this year's goals and action plan, I want to talk a little bit about last year. Some of the goals, some of this year's goals are the same, if not similar, to some of last year's goals. So, I just kind of want to get an update on how last year went and how some of the goals last year transitioned into this year.
Yeah. Well, 2020 was a very challenging year for everyone, and including Meridian Township. The first thing that we focused on in 2020 was um, responding to COVID, still be able to maintain services, make sure our people can stay healthy, and still be able to serve the public. And that's why we opened up the outdoor pods. We served 90% of our public outdoors in 2020. Of course, we had the presidential election at the same time, the first year of our local road program, and also the development up in Hazlet and of the Pine Village development, and working to make improvements down with the village of Okemos. So we had a very busy year in 2020, highlighted by, of course, the pandemic.
Did any of when the pandemic hit, it created, not just in the township but in cities all around the country, budget shortfalls? Did any of that hinder any of the goals from last year?
No, actually, we're still financially very strong. We did make some realignments in our staffing once the pandemic hit. I think we probably have 5 or 6 less people than what we had a year ago. We had to adjust, but no, financially, there are no issues in the township at this time.
So to this year's goals, last year was about, it seemed like it was about road construction and just certain projects around the township. This year, it seems like the theme is still improving services, but also customer service. How did you come up with the new goals for this year?
Well, the new goals are really driven by the township board in alignment with the staff. And last year, the focus was really on, yes, starting our road program, but also opening the farmers market, and also on the purchase of a new ladder truck for our fire department. So there are many highlights if you look back to 2020, the new emergency siren that was added. So as you look around the township, many improvements. This year, the focus has been, how do we still maintain our services going through COVID? We're trying to expand our pathway system. We're looking at doing more with broadband, increasing or improving our website. Diversity, equity, inclusion is very important to us. And then new solar, more advanced and amplified solar program. And we're also working on a deer call program to thin our deer herd here in Meridian Township as well.
With regards to the solar program, in front of the municipal building, there's that's big solar panel. I'm just curious as to how far you were able to get with solar projects last year.
Now, last year we installed solar at the marketplace and on the South Fire Station. So if you look on the west side of the fire station, you'll see solar panels on the entire west end of the roof. So we were able to accomplish the first 2 years of our solar program. Year three, it's enhanced. We've spent approximately $100,000 each of the first 2 years. We have $300,000 budgeted for this year, and we're looking for the appropriate site at this time.
So does it go up by? Just to follow up. Does it go up like by 100,000 every every year? Like, will it be a goal next year and it'll go up by another 100,000?
Yeah, we're really trying to be 100% renewable energy by 2035. So we have a gauge about how much we need to spend each year to get to reach that goal. What's it, 14 years from now? We spent 100,000 in 2019, 100,000 in 2020, and we have 300,000 budgeted for 2021.
How does being how does a goal of 100% renewable energy, how will that help the township in the long run?
Well, it'll help the township because we'll have a better climate because of it. If more people did that, we wouldn't be dealing with climate change at such a rapid rate. And so we're just trying to do our part.
I see. I want to also talk about the goal regarding the diversity, equity, and inclusion plan. This was a goal last year, and obviously it's carried over to this year. There has been a lot that's happened in the past 8 or 9 months with with you know Black Lives Matter. We had the killing of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Did those contribute to, obviously this was a goal even before all this happened, but does do these kinds of things only strengthen the need to get it completed?
Well, as you know, it's been important to us before those incidents that you refer to. But I do believe that when you see things like that occur, it does heighten your awareness as it should, and it does drive you to be better. And it makes you look inward at what you can do as an individual or as the leader of a community or department to do better. And so I think both of those answers are true. We were looking squarely at this in the last few years, but we're looking more, I would say, in a more enhanced way now.
I see. So in regards to, like you said, we were looking at it last year. Is there any, I'm just curious as to what you got done, if you got done last year, and what you hope to get done with this year.
Well, last year we increased our the diversity among our employees, which we're really proud of across the board. And this year we're focusing on things like Ban the Box, which is a block, which is a toll gate for people to get through. And we're taking a look at the banning of the box as a way to broaden the ability of all to seek employment, regardless of your past. And then, of course, we're looking at a DEI program to take out into the community to strengthen it beyond the township hall, but just out into the community. We're starting that process now. So we've done a lot in this area. And what I'm most proud of is if you take a look at our workforce, it more resembles the community that we have.
Do you think this is a goal that's going to go, because this sounds like, it sounds great, but it sounds like a little bit more like long-term work. Do you think this is a goal that could go beyond this year?
Absolutely. I'm sure it will, and it should. You shouldn't just create a program and then put it on the shelf and forget about it. I mean, this is an ongoing, it's going to be an ongoing issue in Meridian Township in the state of Michigan and the United States going forward. And we want to make sure we're looking at it every year and doing the best we can to be better.
Regarding the goal about broadband, hold on, give me just a second. Um, okay. I'm sorry, I have the goals like on another page.
Uh-huh.
So I just wanted to just get it up.
Good.
Regarding broadband, the COVID-19 pandemic has caused a lot of people to work from home, students to learn from home. How what have you, I'm just curious as to what you've learned about expanding broadband in the past year when it's come to the pandemic. Is this a goal that you thought about implementing before the pandemic, and did the pandemic strengthen that goal?
Well, I think that no, we really had not looked at this as a community of getting involved and being a leader in expanding broadband. But what happened in 2020 is it showed the haves and the haves not. And when you look at children at home and having to rely on a virtual system to be educated, and you take a look at the lack of broadband in certain areas, that's an unfair, it's an uneven playing field. And what we want to do is take a look at what we can do as a community to make sure that all kids, all families have access to broadband. and that no kids are left behind in this program.
Do you think that there is a, I would say, racial gap when it comes to broadband? It's been talked about since the pandemic about how in some areas there's a more access to broadband, but in other areas, poor, more areas with poverty, there's not as much access, and that could be hurting those people. Do you think that um, that part is important to address here?
Yeah, I think any areas or any place where there's broadband is not readily available, wherever that's at, is creating an unfair playing field for children who are trying to get educated in this virtual world. And I think we have to do everything we can do to make sure that in Meridian Township, um, broadband is available to everyone. And we're going to take a hard look at that this year and into next year.
You mentioned you're going to take a hard look at it, but have you found that inequality gap to with broadband to be an issue so far in the township?
I don't, I've made a career out of not talking about things that I don't know. And I'm not an expert on broadband and where it's available to and what the racial makeup is of those who receive broadband in Meridian Township. I do know one thing, every kid should have the access to broadband, and that's what we're going to look at.
To the village of Okemos, one of the goals on here is to redevelop downtown Okemos and Hazlet. It says with vertical construction, but I assume Village of Okemos is a part of that effort. How important is it to get the Village of Okemos development done?
Well, there's two components of that. One is to clean up the blight that existed in the village of Okemos, and two is to see vertical construction. The first part of that, the former, has been accomplished. All the buildings have been removed. They were removed by, I think, the 22nd of January, and so we're well on our way now to see hopefully vertical construction. If vertical construction doesn't happen this year due to financing, COVID, or whatever, at least we've accomplished eliminating the blight. It looks much better when you drive through, and we've got work to do, but I'm pleased with the progress we've made.
Do you think there'll be any huge? I know COVID-19 created a pretty big setback last year in funding. Do you think that that'll be an issue this year?
I don't know. I'm not the developer, and I don't know his or her finances and what the bank finances are at this time. All I know is that we're working towards a good development down there, and getting the buildings removed is a first step in that process.
With regards to the Lake Lansing pathway, the phase 1 and 2 of completing that pathway, do you believe that, like I say, I keep coming back to COVID, do you think that the pandemic and people wanting to get outside more for a break, a breather, do you think that that contributed to this goal in some ways?
No, no, we've been working on pathways for decades here. We have almost 80 miles of pathways. So it's something we've been working on, I think, for 3 or 4 decades in Meridian Township. So it wasn't exacerbated by COVID, but certainly this new connection will add to our system, and I'm sure lots of people will enjoy it.
With obviously customer service here is a goal. Going off of this, and this is more regarding township employees rather than residents. A few months ago, if I remember correctly, there was a plan there was a pilot program that you guys wanted to try where some employees would work from home some days and they would come in and it would go back and forth. How I'm just that plan has been implemented, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're still open for business. We still have customer service for anyone who wants to be served. That's what we're here for. We serve the public, and that should be our number one goal. But yeah, we have a work from home program right now going on.
I just want to ask you if you think this pandemic it's caused a lot of businesses to really take a look at how they are doing business with employees, like how if they could maybe, have them work from home. Do you think this program, along with the pandemic, is causing you to look at that? What happens post pandemic? Do you think that this could become a thing for some employees?
Not likely. I'm certainly going to take a look at it, but I'm a firm believer that we're in this, we're paid for by our salaries are paid by the taxpayers, and I believe that we're here are to serve the public, and it's different than a business. And I think that in order to serve the public, you really need to be available, and a big part of that's in person. Once COVID goes away, vaccination, which is going to be some time from now, but I believe you'll see all of us returning back to the building and serving the public what we're paid to do.
You don't think that over time you could do that? If you do that and you find that maybe some people, that could change among some people, like maybe they just like to do certain services by phone or anything like that, so you don't think that's going to change?
Again, not likely. I'm open to any discussion on that with my team. But right now, I think we have an obligation to serve the public, and that's in person.
Do you think you could see those outside pods becoming a thing? Because technically that's still in person, but do you think you could, even post pandemic, see that becoming a thing, especially in the warmer months?
Anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Okay. Um, I also want to talk about, this was a goal last year, furthering the branding efforts of new signage. I'm just curious as to how you believe that'll further branding efforts and not efforts to attract more people to the township.
Well, I think if you take a look at our entry signs, which are haven't been changed in a few decades, we need to freshen things up. It's a priority of ours to get our brand out there. And then if you take a look at the signs outside of here, the Township Hall, they're very hard to read. In fact, I don't think people even realize they're there. We're just going to freshen things up. It's been 20 or 30 years, and we're going to take a look at what we can do to improve our branding.
And you think improving new branding could include a new design?
No, no, actually, we just did our branding 3 years ago, and we need to further our efforts to expand our new brand.
With regards to the road enhancement program, obviously Michigan, it's terrible. I mean, Michigan has, not the greatest roads. So how are you looking? I'm just curious as to how you guys did last year. I know you guys did a lot of road construction last year. How did you guys do last year? I know you guys had a minimum, and you guys have a minimum of 15 miles that you want to improve this year. How did you do with the road construction projects?
Well, the first year was just phenomenal. I mean, we have 147 miles of roads. Our program is a 10-year improvement plan that was approved by our voters by a wide margin. That means we need to get to about 14.7 miles per year. And the first year we did 26, and this year we're at about 18. So we're well on our way to meeting our goals. We have a lot of work to do, but we made a promise to our voters, and as you drive around Meridian Township, you'll start to see that come to fruition.
Do you think that do you think that residents are starting to see improvements on the roads?
Absolutely. I mean, we did 26 miles last year, so definitely you'll see them. Plus, that's augmented by the work that the county did, like on Central Park Drive and Dobie and other areas. So it was more than 26 miles. So yeah, people are noticing, but we still have 9 years to go.
So 9 years to go. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I want to ask a bit about the website. This is a goal. Do you think it's an important goal, but do you think this is the most important goal? Do you think that residents go to the website and think differently of the township of the township services when they go and visit it right now?
Well, local government, the denominator of good local government, great local government, is customer service. And customer service and the front door of our community is our website. So do I think it's the most important thing? No. I think roads and other things are very, very important in this community, but so is our website. It's the front door to our township. And there's always room for improvement. And we're looking at how we can be better. And I do think it's a big component of our customer service to have the best website.
I see. Um, okay, I think, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, no, you covered it. We just went through it all.
Okay. Alrighty. Frank
Thanks a
Walsh,
lot, Ben.
I'm sorry?
I said thanks a lot, Ben.
No problem. Frank, thank you for speaking with me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Stay safe and good luck at school.
Thank you. Stay safe as well.
Bye.
Bye-bye.